Welcome to episode 40 of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Sense. And joining me today for today's episode is Calumet County's collective brain trust from the world of thrifting. Home to some of the coolest and best thrift stores in all of Wisconsin. Spending the day thrifting in Calumet County is a great way to find those forgotten treasures, super bargains, and unique finds that are the stuff of legend. Here to share their passion for thrifting are many of the owners and leaders of the thrift stores of Calumet County. My guests include Becca Mosier with Full Circle Community Closet in New Holstein, Lisa Martin from Wild Corgi, and that's in Chilton, Susan Wittmann from the Hilbert St. Vincent de Paul store, and Julie Urness from Kiel's St. Vincent de Paul store. So welcome to the program, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for the invite.
Why has thrifting become so popular, do you think?
Well, environmental sustainability, I think, has gotten more popular in families and just people being more conscious of reduce, reuse, recycle, and saving money, I think, is ever more important all the time.
I think that, and I think the price of groceries, gas, everything else is going up. And so if you can buy clothing at a lower price, why not?
And then
Same quality.
There's the people that just love the hunt of the thrill of finding something.
Yeah. And on the back end of things, people who are trying to purge their homes and get rid of things instead of dumpstering it, they have different options on, whether to donate it or take it somewhere to be sold. Dealing with the Facebook marketplace isn't always fun when you're trying to sell things. People either don't show up or they want to pay you a quarter of what you're asking, so that's not fun. So sometimes it's just less of a hassle to take it somewhere that's going to make good use of it by donating it, or to a place that would buy it.
And thank you for that, Lisa. And I guess I'll go to Julie with the next question to lead off here. What kind of items do you typically receive and sell at your store?
Majority we get clothes.
Okay.
We get clothes, lots and lots of clothing. And then second biggest donation would be housewares. And but we sell everything from skis to pajamas, bedding, everything. We don't sell mattresses, but pretty much anything we could find like at a regular store we carry.
Okay. And what about you at your store, Susan, in Hilbert?
I would go along with the same thing Julie said.
Okay.
We do sell mattresses, but ours are refurbished mattresses, so they're basically brand new.
Okay.
So a lot of crystal is donated at our store.
Are any of you doing anything to source your material differently than just a standard donation item or anything like that? Do you have any arrangements with any vendors or anything?
Nope, they just bring it to us.
Okay, all right.
I think I'm the only store here that, I'm not a charity thrift store, I'm a business.
Okay.
So I purchase items from people.
Okay.
So you might be familiar with the bigger chain stores like, I always want to say
Once
Planet
Upon a
Fitness,
Plato's
Plato's
Closet.
Closet, or Once Upon a Child. So people bring me things that they don't feel like they're ready to donate. So I make them an offer and they say yes or no, and then I pay them for those items.
Okay.
So I always say that I'm a place for things that you want, not things that you need. So I don't do housewares, but home decor. So sometimes, I tell people all the time, if you have a bunch of clothes or items in your car and you're on your way to St. Vinny's to donate, keep going. I'm looking for things that I would normally buy off the marketplace.
Okay.
And newer things. I mean, I think
Yeah,
people
there's
that,
rules.
Yeah.
Yep, you have to bring them in totes, and you have to have purchased them new in the last 3 years, because it is a business and I am paying people for their items. So I want to make sure that I have a different kind of item. I'm trying to save you a trip to Appleton, not save you a trip to Walmart, because everybody's going there anyway.
Mm-hmm. So Lisa, when you talk about that at Wild Corgi, then do you have regular sellers to you then that provide that on a regular basis, or is it just more? It is. You do.
No,
Okay.
it's different people all the time. Today, before I came, I had 4 new sellers that came that have never been there before.
Okay.
In a normal consignment store, you bring your items, they check them over, they put them out, and when the items sell, you get paid. I didn't want to do it that way. I thought that was a lot more paperwork, so I just take in items like a normal thrift store and pay you for them, and then I own them. I only do one thing on consignment, and that'll come further out down the list.
Okay. And Becca, yours is the name of your store is the Full Circle Community Closet. What does the Full Circle mean?
Well, I started my shop, I opened last August 2024. I'm a full-time substitute teacher. I only sub in New Holstein Public Schools, and I work every day. I'm not picky, so I sub everywhere. And it was that job that really reminded me, because I think we sort of, the longer we're not in school, we kind of forget that school is for everyone, and there's a lot of kids that are living in poverty in our own community than a lot of us realize. And also then the teachers end up supplementing a lot of things for those kids. They'll buy clothing to keep on hand or bring things from home, and then they have a snack time, and a lot of the times the teachers were providing snacks for the kids that didn't have them. And that was kind of just like an itch in my brain that I needed to scratch, of how to kind of figure out a way to sort of supplement that, but then also just to have a place in New Holstein to buy pretty much anything for kids. So mine is also, I'm a 501c3 tax exempt, considered nonprofit organization. I'm the executive director of it. I have a board of directors. So everything is donated, and it's mostly kids' clothes. So when I started it, the full circle means that it's all of the seasons of life and the seasons of having kids. A lot of us universally, myself included, I have 2 kids in grade school, and always having the totes of clothes in the basement of the next sizes. Like, I have 2 girls, so they could share. I could save stuff. But then what I don't use for my second daughter, like, it just kind of hangs out, and then it needs to get donated somewhere. So it's kind of a specific place to donate stuff for kids. And then the seasons change, so you need to get different seasonal stuff, and then they grow kind of overnight. Sometimes all of a sudden their pants are just too short in the morning. Their feet grow, skip sizes. So it's a way that everybody can get affordably the things that they need for their kids. I do have adult clothes too, because I have a hard time saying no to things. So, and then middle schoolers and high schoolers can wear adult size clothes. So I do have clothes that adults would want to buy too. So anybody should come check it out. And sometimes people walk in for the first time and they see all the kids stuff, and they are like, I don't think there's anything here for me, but they do find some clothes for themselves and shoes and stuff. So.
I mean, obviously we have 2 St. Vincent de Pauls in the room, and maybe it's worth a few seconds for both of you, Julie and Susan, to maybe just spend a few seconds to talk about St. Vincent de Paul. I mean, a lot of people hear the name, but maybe don't realize who that is and what that name means, other than it's the thrift store. So
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of people don't. They just know it's a thrift store, but they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Basically, our purpose, we have a board too. I'm the store manager, and the board takes care of all the other stuff. Our motto is we help people, those in need. So if somebody comes in, they need help with rental assistance. So the profits we make off the store helps us, like rental assistance, gas, electric bills, some automobile repair. As you mentioned, kids in schools, we'll have the schools from Hilbert come in and say, we have a clothes closet, we need to restock it, someone needs a winter jacket. We just let them, take what they need to help out the school kids. So we help those in need within the Calumet County.
Mm-hmm. So Julie, I have to ask you this question, I guess, is what is some of the more interesting things that you've had that you've brought in over the years of people donating?
Well, some really crazy things, actually. The one time we were going through a bin and someone donated their false teeth. Those were in a box.
All right.
Another time they opened up a box and it was like someone dumped out the box at the bank, like the security boxes. It was a box full of antique coins and cash, and it definitely should not have been donated. We did not accept it. We found back to who it was by where the bank came from and everything. I think those are some of the more interesting items.
Okay. And what about you on your end, Becca? Anything unique or crazy or outlandishly fun?
I think I'm just always very sort of pleasantly surprised by all of the things that are new with tags and really nice brand names.
Yes.
All of the Under Armour, the Nike, and the things that the kids really want to wear. And I'm grateful for that people would donate that instead of trying to resell it on their own. Kind of what Lisa was saying earlier. It is a hassle to try to do that on your own, but they could make some money on it. So I appreciate that, and
We
I
get
always
that
have a
lot.
lot of a lot of
People
good
bring
selection.
they'll bring a lot of new clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just don't want to return it to the store.
Yep, they
So
don't
thought
wanna
we'd give
deal
it
with
to you.
They don't wanna deal with the marketplace.
Yeah, in fact, had a guy bring us brand new jeans today.
Yeah.
They
Really?
must have
Okay.
been mismarked at the store, he said, but I don't want to return them, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, and squishmallows, like anything that's kind of really popular doesn't last long. It seems, I put it out and it
Yeah.
sells right away. Everything I have is pretty much under $10. I don't individually price everything. I admire the people of St. Vinny's because that's a lot of labor intensive. It's just me, and then I have a really great team of like 3 regular volunteers that are able to be there. I still substitute teach all week, so it can be open when I'm working, and I'm grateful for that too. But I don't have the capacity to sit there and tag everything. So I have price boards up that just it's a general by what the item is, but.
So it's a real labor of love for you, Becca, because you've got other priorities, you've got kids, you've got a job, and you're doing this and you're doing it with the board of directors, so you're not only just doing the store, but you're trying to make sure that the board is involved and actively doing things as well. What do you find to be the most rewarding part of what you do with all those things you've got going on with the store?
I think the rewarding part is because I am friends with a lot of teachers now, and it really feels like I'm helping my friends when I'm able to give them things for their students, and getting those referrals from people new to town, or I often have questions like, I know someone who's moving from Arizona and they have no winter gear, and just being able to know that if I can ease someone's transition to a new place with the things that I am able to offer because they were donated. It's just kind of a cycle of like kindness and taking care of each other. And I really think community has become quite a buzzword in the last couple months. I'd say just everybody kind of recommending, get with your community, and I think that's very true. I think that when you help your neighbors and you help your community, that is fulfilling. And I'm not some kind of saint, martyr type of a person. Lots of people are grateful, but I'm grateful because I've been supported really a lot. And so I think that's why it's fulfilling. It's a real tangible thing that you can see is making a difference. I had a different friend who, and this was an adult, and they were relocating very quickly here from somewhere, and it was like not a great situation. So I just happen to have a donation of household things that I don't usually sell those, so I'll do that too. If I get things that I'm not going to sell, I don't have a lot of room, but I'll try to then find where that can go, that someone just needs it. There's we have a buy nothing group in like Chilton, Sherwood, New Holstein is one of it's a group you can join on Facebook, but it's a buy nothing, and that's a whole thing for like mutual aid. The whole point of that is you just post things that you have that you don't need, and then people can come and grab them, or you can say, I need this. Like a lot of grandparents will be like, I need a stroller because I babysit. It's like rather than going out and everybody buying all this new stuff, that's kind of the environmental piece of it too. It's like, where can we fill in that with and just help each other with nothing expected in return, and knowing you can go there then and say when you need something that it's just there. It's just
I have a good idea for puzzles, and I don't know if you guys know about this too, but I would get in puzzles, and when you buy a puzzle at a thrift store, you're like, oh, I hope all the pieces
Are the
are
pieces
there,
all there, right, Lisa? Yeah.
Right, so I send my smaller puzzles to the residents of Uptown Commons, and they put the puzzles together, and then I can put a label on that says piece count verified by the residents of Uptown Commons. And people just get such a kick out of that they put the puzzles together. But then they come back sometimes where this one's missing a piece or this one's missing a piece, and I'm not going to put that one out. But in the past, I had to just toss them. And a guy found out that I was doing that, and he said, my wife is a nurse in the prison system, and she travels to different prisons. They want those because they don't care if the pieces are missing, right? They're just trying to pass time. So all of the puzzles that have pieces missing, instead of going in the garbage, I save them for him, and he picks them up. So at least those puzzles don't get thrown out, even though I don't feel comfortable selling them.
Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing, Julie and Susan, that mission's a real important thing for both of you as well with what you're doing. And how can you describe to listeners what the mission is and why it's so important to you?
The mission is to help the needy. It just feels good helping people out when they come in and they have literally nothing. And they can come in and they set up in a meet. So we have Vincentians. So people come and they set an appointment and they talk about what they need, whether it's a winter coat or they need last month's rent because they didn't have the money for it. And they can come in and they can get whatever they need. And these people are so grateful to get this. And it just feels so good. Or they can get gas cards, food cards. It just feels great to help them.
And as a thrifter myself, who I shop at both St. Vinny's and, other thrift shops, and I come by you. But it's nice to shop somewhere where you know that it's a purpose like that, instead of just making some billionaire more of a billionaire or whatever, shareholders. I mean, I think, again, collectively, I feel like that's sort of at the forefront more of our culturally, societally right now, more than ever, the kind of class discussion that I think is really important to have. But it's nice to, when you do shop local and you do shop
And
somewhere
it
that
stays local.
right, and it has the mission,
What they
because I
do
would
stays
I would
local.
want if I'm buying something at St. Vinny's, I'd be happy to know that you took the money that you made off of that item that was donated and gave it to someone in the community that needed their rent paid. I mean, that makes sense.
I've had friends ask me, Julie, does it really go back to the community?
It
It
really
absolutely does.
The board makes sure of that. I
Oh,
mean,
it-
you have to show where you spent your money every year and more
Correct.
often at your meetings and stuff.
We have a lot of people too who come in if they're just moving into a new apartment or they're getting out of a bad situation and need to move. They'll come in for furniture, household stuff, and we provide that for them too. So it's not just a monetary donation of rent or gas or electricity, but we also do the physical things too when they need it.
But in the same way, I
So-
think that I have a friend that drops things off by you, and she was just tickled because she's like, I just brought a tote full of purses that I was going to donate, and I got $40 for them. And like in the same way, that's also in people in our community that you're giving things a second life, and then people that paid money for them can get something back in return. Again, I just think it feels better that way.
Yep, and I try to give back as much as possible too. Obviously, I need to, I don't get donations, so it's harder to come up with the money to pay rent and taxes and sales tax and all that. But I do try to do things that, like, just help the community. I've lived in Chilton my entire life, aside from, being in Stockbridge, but still in the Chilton area. I graduated from Chilton, have been here since I was 2 years old. And my significant other as well. We've both been here our whole lives. So when someone comes in and says, well, they'll do that for me, they've known me your whole life. I've known everybody my whole life. I've lived here my whole life. So you try to, help with different things in the area and different charities. Try to make a way we had VIP bags where you could buy the VIP bag, but then you had to put your name on a card with your charity. And when the VIP bags were sold, and that gives you 10% off at the store, when those were sold, we drew a name, and that person got to give this money that I gave them to their charity. So we gave away $500 twice to different charities because we could. So you try to do that, but it is different when you're trying to be a business. It's a different thing when
It's a
you're a
different
business.
platform, but
Yeah, it's a
that's
different
okay.
platform. I'm trying to still provide a decent price. And I think that people realize when they come in that it has to be these prices because I'm trying to keep the lights on.
First, I just applaud all of you for your missions and what you're doing to help the community. And there's a lot of people outside of Calumet County that aren't aware of the opportunity to come here and shop. Great retail, great brands that are here that are local, but also some great thrifting opportunities. What would you say to somebody who's thinking, I don't know if I want to go to Calumet County to go thrift shopping? What would you say to encourage them? What kind of things do you do? Do you do fun things? Do you do promotions, things like that? How do you get people to come out of other areas to come down here to Calumet County to do their shopping?
I do run a different specials and promotions, kind of depending on like the holidays. In February, I did, if you bought something red or with a heart on it, your whole purchase was half price. I did that from February 1st till Valentine's Day. I haven't announced this one yet because I'm still working on it, but for
Breaking news, everyone. Becca's
Breaking
going to
news.
break some news here. Okay.
Yep. March, it'll be buy something green, and you'll get at half price up through St. Patrick's Day on the 17th. That'll be my March promotion.
Okay.
I have a prom ocean going on right now with prom dresses.
A promotion.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Capital
All right.
PROM.
Everybody catch that out there? I hope
That's
you're
cute.
listening.
Yeah. Very cute.
If you donate a prom dress or buy a prom dress, you get a ticket into a drawing of one of 2 baskets, and all the local businesses in New Holstein, pretty much anyone that asked, gave me things. So $25 gift cards for like Isaac's, and True Value gave actual gifts. Chiffon gave gifts and gift cards. I'm missing Quick Trip in New Holstein gave me gift cards. So I have 2 baskets. One will be if you bought one will be if you donated one, but I have them in the window. There's beautiful dresses. I've sold one so far, but the most expensive they'll be is $25 for like the newest dresses, beaded, and some of them are 10, 15, 20. But I think it's important to get outside of New Holstein, because I think there is always the feeling of kids being like, well, I don't want to buy a used dress, or I don't want it to be someone who goes to school here who wore it last year or the year before. But kids from Kiel and Chilton, you don't go to New Holstein. I also want to just make thrifting cool in high school, and I'm not young enough to do that. But I thought about doing like an advisory board of high schoolers. I have to figure that out, how to ask and get that, but ask them directly how to kind of break into that so that they realize how cool it is to thrift and buy things for pennies on the dollar and save your money for other stuff too.
Okay.
This is the second year of us doing a prom event also.
Okay.
And
this is at Wild Corgi.
Yeah, at Wild Corgi. And I have about 240 dresses that I started with. The girls bring in their dresses. There's a couple rules, they have to be clean, they have to be new within the last 3 years. The girls tell me what they want for their dress, and they get all the money. So that's the only thing I do on consignment, but it's a no-fee consignment because I don't want to be stuck with 3,000 prom dresses. So they bring in their dress, they get all the money. It's so much fun sending that text saying, hey, I sold your $200 prom dress. There's a couple girls who spent more than $700 on their prom dress, and now they're at the shop for $200 and $300. So you can be in Chilton and not have to drive to Green Bay or Appleton or Chicago
I was gonna say a lot go to Chicago.
and buy a decent prom dress. There's one girl who told me that her and her 3 friends drove to Milwaukee, hopped a train to Chicago, got on a subway, and went to this special boutique in Chicago to buy their prom dress. First of all, my mom in heaven is stroking out right now because there's no way that she would let me do that. But so they go and buy these dresses, they bring them home, and what are you going to do after the 4 hours that you wear them? So I offer them a way to make some money back and hopefully buy their dress this year there. So it's a lot of fun having the dresses available, and they try them on and they look beautiful, and then they take them home, and you can hold a sign up that says I said yes to the dress, and then you get $5 off that I chip in. It's just a lot of fun offering. We're always, with my business and our other business, I always try and offer things that you can't get here. And prom dresses was just one of them at the time.
Susan, what are some of the emerging trends in thrifting right now that you guys are seeing in your world?
I think we have a lot of resellers that come in and buy from us and then resell online.
Okay.
To get people who shop the latest trends. Like the 70s look is back in, so people come looking for those 70s clothes and the vintage.
Which is fortunate for some of us.
Just whatever the
'cause
trends are, that's
Yeah,
what
vintage is
people...
really big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ladies in back that price the things, and they're like, oh my gosh, who would wear this? I said, lots
Yeah.
of people. Let's
Yeah.
get it out there, and it'll sell immediately.
Yeah.
The big fly collars and the polyester pants. And
Or the jeans with holes in. When I volunteered at St. Vinny's in Hilbert for a while when I was younger, the older folks were like, I'm throwing these in the to-go bin. They have
like
holes.
they-
And I'm like,
they
no,
still try
no,
to
they
do that.
bought them like that.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be
They
like
still
that.
try to do that.
Do they?
Yes, they
These
do.
are junk,
Yeah.
throw them out.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's the style.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you guys are really, if somebody wants to get the finger on the pulse of fashion and where it's actually heading and where
Thrift.
it's starting, it's
Thrift.
thrift, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. To see a group
Yeah.
of girls going rummage selling, like at neighborhood rummage sales, and you see a group of high school girls, I just want to go to them and clap.
Yeah.
Because my mom took me thrifting, and I would rather go rummage selling or thrifting for a day than go to the mall.
my girls are like that.
Yes.
My mother-in-law used to take my girls thrifting, and I'd always be like, leave that at Nana and Papa's. We've got plenty of stuff at home. and my mother-in-law had passed, and they'd be like, can't we go thrifting like Nana would take
Yeah.
us? And I'd be like, fine. So I would stand there kind of like hum-diddy-hum, and then I was like, oh my gosh, what's this? And what's that? And then I would only go like when my kids were home,
Yeah.
and then I'd be like, the girls are at school, like, I'll go by myself. And then it's like,
Once you
But-
realize it's like a scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
if that taps into some part of your brain that loves to find things
but it's
or.
the hunt of the thrill is like so
Yep.
fun. At our store, we do get, it's crazy in Kiel how really great designer brands we really get. And a lot of ladies are like, oh, we should do a name brand rack. And I'm like, no, because that's part of the fun. It's like going through
Yep.
the rack and
You make
finding
it too
that
easy.
score. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like you don't want that name brand. You go right to it, and it's like they'll be done. And it's like, no, you like don't know what you
gotta
don't need.
find it, yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that makes
You
it
gotta
fun.
find it.
I was a thrifter too, and my mom would always say to me, you redecorated your house. And I'm like, that's because I thrifted it. And you thrift,
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
update and redo your house.
Yeah, it gives
more
you a
often
lot
than
more.
you think. Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Gives
I-
you a lot more options, a lot of unique items, a lot of.
Right,
different
and
things.
quality. That's what I was just
Mhm.
thinking about. I think what's lost on a lot of people that have had kids in recent years is the quality of like baby clothes, like sleepers, just the things that they sleep in, like the cotton. When I get things that are from like the 90s and early 2000s, like the Carter, it's still Carter's. You can tell by the tag though, and
Yeah,
and
you
it's
can
like
tell the difference.
it's soft and it's
Yeah.
thick, and just the quality of the materials because it's just
Yeah.
not as good anymore,
Yeah.
and for a lot of reasons. And I'm like you're doing good if you stock up on those. I mean, it's just they're nicer.
I think too, a lot more women are buying clothes online. Then you find out it doesn't look like it does in the picture, or it doesn't fit like it does in the
The
picture.
quality isn't as
I
nice. or, yeah.
don't want to return it, so let's donate it, let's get rid of it that way. And when I opened in 2023 on Small Business Saturday, my first goal was, I'm gonna put together a thrift store bus trip, this is gonna be fun. And my hubby's like, nobody's gonna wanna do that. I'm like, oh yes, they will. And we're on our third one, and they're
Really?
always full. And we have such a blast going to thrift stores all day long.
My volunteers are still talking about your trip.
Yeah, I mean, last time a
They
girl
went on
in
it?
college bought a couch.
How did you fit it on the bus?
It fits underneath the bus. You'd be surprised
I
what
thought maybe
fits
you brought it
underneath
in and
those
sat on it
No.
down the aisle.
No, the last two were day trips, and the only complaint they had was they didn't have enough time at each space. Because some of the spots, when I told you we were coming, they didn't have enough staff. So that was hard. So the only way to fix that is to go overnight. So this trip in April is overnight now.
Wow, so you
So
start that
50
right here in Chilton? And
You
okay.
start and end here, 56 people. Yeah.
Motor coach, the whole shebang,
Oh, yeah,
right?
not a school bus, a
Right.
motor coach.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, school bus wouldn't fit a couch.
No,
No, it wouldn't.
no.
So I have to ask you then, is that open to anybody, or is it like?
It's full now, but it's open to everybody,
It
sure.
is,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
She could
For the
probably
day
start a
trips,
second
we
bus.
had
I was
some guys.
say, yeah.
I thought about that, but you can't be in two places at one time. And we
True.
do games on the bus and
No, you'd
bus
have to
trip
have somebody
trivia.
else.
Yeah, somebody else would
You
have
need
to
to find
go
other
on.
people to help you staff those.
Yeah.
Exactly. Interesting.
But yeah, we have,
Okay.
there's a Florida lady who does it, like that's her job,
Mhm.
is to organize thrift store bus trips. It's like a party bus, but you stop at thrift stores.
Even
It's
better.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well-
because you have to widen the net when you do your same ones, then you have seen it all, but when you go out of your community, then you find different stuff.
Yeah, you go to
and then-
different areas, and we could go to the same stores every time, because they have new stuff every time, right? You can walk into any of our stores every day
Be different.
and be totally different stuff.
I do love that too, yeah,
Yeah.
the inventory is always changing.
Yep, yeah, for the day trips, we went, you didn't find out where you were going till you get on the bus. But
Mystery. It's a
that's-
mystery
it's a-
thrift
You know
trip.
you're going to
Wow,
thrift
okay.
stores, but that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
We're
that's a
looking forward to it.
For listeners that aren't aware of what a mystery trip is, it's just that. It's people book travel with a motor coach organization and what
Yeah.
have you, and they get on the bus and they have no idea where they're going.
Then you get your
And-
itinerary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, that seems to be a big emerging
Yeah.
thing in the tourism world is more and more people are doing that. So you do that with the thrift world.
Yeah, you know you're going to thrift stores, but you don't
Okay.
know which area you're going to.
Well, I'm going to wrap up here, but I want to ask one final question of each of you, and I'll start with we'll start with you, Julie, and ask this one is, what is your favorite thrifting tip that you can share with our listeners?
My favorite thrifting tip At my store, it always feels like the morning is the busiest. Everybody gets there right away in the morning. But we put stuff out all day long. So you got to come more than just in the morning.
Okay,
Yeah.
duly noted.
That's
It's kind of the same thing. I was kind of thinking the same thing.
Okay, Susan?
Yeah,
You're
I
up.
was kind of thinking the same thing Julie says. Some people will come in and they'll say, well, what day do you put out housewares or what do you put out clothing? But I'm always like, well, Tuesday, I have ladies that do clothing and housewares. Wednesdays, I have ladies that do mostly housewares. And I think that's what most people look for is, what day do you put new things out?
Yeah.
Well,
My
the rumor
volunteers
is-
today just said, I just brought that card out and a lady's shopping off of it, And
That's
then she
nice
got a
when
new
people
card
shop
out.
before you have to
Don't
shelve
put
it,
it away.
right? I'm always like,
Just
yep,
put it
that's
out,
all
yeah.
right.
Lisa, what's your tip for everybody, besides hopping on a bus and shopping?
My tip is probably from a shopping standpoint as well as the ownership standpoint. As a shopper, don't haggle.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, for you three, all these things are donated and all of these things are going to pay for someone else to be helped. Why would you say, would you take $4 for this item that's 10? Just either walk away or decide you're not going to do it or pay it. But I think the reason that I started the store partly is because I was selling a lot on the marketplace. And it was hard. You post an item that's worth $120, you post it for $40, and they show up and offer you $10. I'm
I
like,
think that's a big
"Oh, don't
misconception
do
that
that."
thrift stores, people make the comments, well, everything's donated to you anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't realize that you still have
Overhead.
overhead.
costs.
Exactly.
Yeah. And nobody walks
like-
into Walmart and says, would you take $2 for this gallon of milk?
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
And last words to you, Becca. What's your tip for folks out there?
Well, I think that knowing where you're shopping, knowing what their mission is and being supportive of it is very much appreciated. I failed to say what other kind of promotions I have. Like all the T-shirt, people donate T-shirts if it's like a race that they participated in, like a turkey trot or whatever. I'm not going to resell that, but I have a friend in Chilton who's a seamstress, and she turns them into T-shirt bags, like reusable grocery bags. And then New Hope Center, the Made by Me, I have them screen print my logo on it, and then I sell those. If you spend $50, you get one for free, or they're $5. And then if you use it, you get 10% off. Your purchase. I have a punch card program. Loyalty, 10 punches is $10 off anything. I always give away a free book with purchase. It's usually children's books, and they could just pick a book when they leave. So knowing also that we're always trying to offer, I'm always trying to offer more back that I even just at the point of sale. And I think, again, just also realizing that, especially for a nonprofit, because it's called community closet, there might be the misconception that it's where you can walk in and only if you're really in need and you get things for no cost or something. No, I actually use St. Vinny's a lot. I'm like, this is just set up like a St. Vinny's. I need everybody to shop here. I need people to spend their money here so I could pay for the overhead and all the things. And then it's after that I can be able to be supportive of the community. So I guess it's not a tip either, as much as just like the awareness, the factor of what is. You're spending your money matters, how you spend your dollars. So maybe something is $8 in my shop, and you could go maybe on Amazon or go to Walmart and get it for $10 and wonder, well, I'll just get it new then. But is where you're shopping doing anything to really help your community? So you've got power in the money that you spend, I think, and more than people realize that they have.
Okay. Well, thank you for being our guests today, to Becca, Lisa, and Susan and Julie. It's just been wonderful having you in, talking about the experiences that you have had with thrifting here and the work that you do. Again, we just thank you for that work. It's an important part of our community, and thankful that you're there doing it, so thank you. And listeners, thanks for tuning in to episode number 40, and please make sure you check out the other 39 episodes of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast by clicking on the microphone on the homepage of travelcalumet.com. And if you liked what you heard today or on previous episodes, please help us spread the word on all the great things taking place here in Calumet County. Take some time to text a couple of friends. Encourage them to listen to the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. Thank you for listening, and until next time.